So let's look at what this TF record file is. So um, I would go through. So I'm at the TensorFlow website, TensorFlow documentation. You'll find a link to all these documentations in the description. So the TF record format, it says the TF record format is a simple format for storing a sequence of binary records. So let me just give this example. So the TF record is like a bookshelf, right? And the bookshelf contains different books. So the different books are the records which are neatly arranged in the bookshelf. So a TF record just holds different records which are nicely arranged, and then these records are binary records. Um, each of these records is a TF train example. So the TF record is a file format like CSV, and then the TF train example is like something like a message protocol, or we would just say it's also a file format, right? So the TF train example is where the CSV example gen name comes from, because it's an example file format. All your data are stored as some example file formats, and this TF train example is like a Python dictionary. So a Python dictionary has a key and value pair. So like you have a string and then you have a value mapping, and this TF train example and then the TF record is the data format that is used extensively in TensorFlow and also in TFX. Um, so you can't ignore it. You have to know what kind of format the TF record is. So um, if we go back to our Jupyter notebooks, so for example, if I am storing my username column as a TF example, so my key will be username, and then for a TF record I might have this one, DVR Braille, if I'm storing this username as a TF record, and then another if I'm storing this username as a TF example, and then another TF train example would have a key of rating and then a value of 7. So let me say it again. So if I want to store, let's say, this first example as a TF record, so I have a TF train example of username, of key, and then a value of this. I might also have a TF train example of key of rating and a value of 7, and then all that will be stored as a TF train example, and then also pushed as a record and then a TF record. So if you have like layers of information being stored as one big folder, right? You can also have separate TF records. TFX can read that also. So yeah, you can go ahead. If my explanation is not clear, you can read the documentation to see if you can understand what a TF record is. So to make you understand better, let's go ahead and then read our transformed file. So let's go ahead and read our transformed file and then see what's inside um, a TF record. All right. So to read our transform file, I would import another library again, but in this time I'm just going to import TensorFlow as TF, right? And yeah, let me just cut this because I don't want to initialize my um, context manager again. So I'll just cut that. So import TensorFlow as TF. Oh, let me just leave it there and then create a new, yeah, here. So import TensorFlow as TF, right? And then what is the location of our TF record? So you can see here components.output, right? Component.output. So our TF record is located in this folder. So there is a simple way where we can get this folder. So let's go ahead and say train URI. So I'm just reading the TF record for the train data set. And then also let me import this folder. So let me import this library. So import OS. So say os.path.join example-gen dot output examples. So if I call example-gen dot output examples, it will print this. So it will print the location of my output, so of my output files. So if I want the file path, I will just say get 0. So get this 0 base, so get this 0 index, and then I'll say .uri. So .uri, which is this file format here. And then so yeah, we have that. So I'm just going to copy this and put it here. And then our folder name is called what? Split train. So when we do the get 0 URI, it just gives us the folder location up to here 1, and then we just have to add split train to it to get the full path of the folder. So I'm just gonna say split train. All right, and then what we have to do next is to get the list of all the files in the directory, right? So I'll say tf record file names, right? So I'm just going to use a list comprehension here. So I'm just going to say os.path.join train URI, comma name, and then I'll say for name in os.list directory train URI. So if you're a Python user, you should be able to understand this list comprehension. What I'm just doing is to list all my directories in my train URI, and then appending the URI directory to each of those directories. In this case, we just have one directory or one file, that is the TF record file, right? So then after that, we can go ahead and then start reading our TF record data set. So we have say tf dot data dot tf record data set. So tf data is it's a set of libraries that is used to read data in TensorFlow. If you want to know more, you can search for tf data and how you can develop highly efficient data pipelines with tf data. So here I'm just gonna go to tf record file names, and then you could see that it had some file formats, which was gz archive. So we have to specify a compression type. So as you can see here, we have to specify our file name, and then we also have to specify a compression type for the file. So say compression type is equal to gzip, right? So now we can read a record, so we can iterate through each of the records in our TF dataset. So let's just print two of them. So we say for TF record in dataset dot take, let's say 2 of them, right? So serialized example tf record dot numpy. So we are just going to convert our tf. So as I said, our TF records contain TF examples, and for if we read one TF record in the data set, we are going to get a TF example. So we are just converting that TF record to a numpy, right? And then we say example, and then we just have to pass that example, that numpy record. So tf train dot example, and then we say example dot pass from string serialized example, and then we can print that example. Print example. If we print it, the output format is not going to be so nice. So there is also a library that you can use so that it will format the output, which is called pprint. So it's just pretty print. If you don't have preprint installed, you can just do a pip install, and then yeah, it will just install for you. So then I can also say pp pp is equal to pprint dot prettyprinter. So I can just run this again. Hopefully I have it installed, and then I will just say pp dot print example. So hopefully when we run this, let me just check, this will work. So I'm just gonna run that. So we have oh, we have an error. So it's pass from string capital. Another error. So it's pp.ppprint. I think so. Yes. So we can see our TF records being printed here. So we have features, and then we have feature, and then the key is date, and then we have a value which is 30th January 2019, and then we have another feature which is helpful, and so probably there's a number of people that found that review helpful, and then we have the rating which is a value of 7. Then we have another feature for review, and then we have a byte list of this so this movie is full of suspense, and then we have the title, and then total username, and then so as you can see, so look at the top of the list, features. So wherever you see, so this is just one feature, so this is one row of data, and then you have another row of data, so another feature dictionary being initialized, and then we have another features dictionary, and then we have feature again, feature. So that's the structure of all the lines of data structured this way, right? So hopefully you learned something from this video and the other 2 previous videos. And yeah, this video has gone longer, but I just wanted to finish this. And yeah, in our next video we would look at our next component, which is statistics gen. If you want to know more about TFX ExampleGen, you can look at the documentation. So we have TFX ExampleGen pipeline component. So you can see the type of file records it can read, and there are so many examples here also if you would want to know more. And you can use TFX ExampleGen to read different file formats. In later videos in other playlists, I'll show you how to process image data, time series data, and structured data. This example is just for natural language processing, but We'll look at other types of data formats like that. Thanks for watching.